Hey, what is going on, guys? It is Young here, and today I'm back on a Fortnite video. In today's video, I want to give you guys 3 different advanced building techniques, and these are advanced building techniques, which means you're probably not going to be using a lot of them in game, but it's going to be very good for warming up your builds in creative for warm-ups, and as well, it's really good for practicing how fast you can build and your edit speed. So practicing these builds are going to be really helpful if you guys want to get really good at building, because if you can get really good at building, the harder kind of builds, the easier ones that you're going to be using every single game are going to get a lot easier. So that's what I'm going to be covering in this video. And before we get into the video, I have a V-Buck giveaway. If you guys want a chance to win some free V-Bucks, all you need to do is to drop a like on this video, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, turn on my notifications, and as well leave a comment down below of your Xbox gamer tag, your PSN gamer tag, or Epic account. And as well, make sure you guys have me added and supported as a creator. All you need to do this is go over to the item shop, hit X, go to support a creator, and then type in my code, and my code is Young Humor. And once you type that in, all you have to do is accept it, and you will have me added and supported as a creator. So make sure you guys do that. It really does help me out. And alright guys, let's get right to the video. Alright, so real quick, I'm going to be starting up my Twitch streams very soon. So if you guys want to add me on Twitch, if you guys want to see me live, you can add me. It's going to be Young Humor TTV. Definitely go add me on Twitch. I'm going to be going live very soon, probably within the next few days. I'm still trying to get everything set up, but as soon as I do, I'll let you guys know, and I'm going to start streaming pretty much daily or as much as I can. So definitely add me on Twitch if you guys want to see me play live. So starting out here is going to be the first building technique, and here's pretty much a demonstration on exactly what I'm doing, and then I'm going to go into detail and explain exactly how I'm doing this. So it's kind of like a variant of the double 90, but as I'm doing the double 90 halfway in between, so after the first 90, I'm going to build out one more, and then I'm going to place a cone, and then I'm going to do the other 90, and there's a few reasons why you probably want to do this, and it can be very effective if you're playing in a 1v1. So when you're going to do this, so you're going to do the first 90 like how you would normally do. So you do the first 90, but after the first 90, you want to build one out with your ramp. And once you build out with that ramp, then you want to place a cone. I mean, you could even place a cone and a floor, but honestly, I don't really think it matters. It just matters that you place that cone, because the cone is going to be the reason, because if someone's building up from your side, it's going to block them off, and then you're going to be able to build up for high ground from there. So you basically build out, you place the cone, and then you finish out with the 90. And this really took me, I would say, for those of you guys who are already really good at 90s, took me maybe like 15 minutes to learn, or to try to get it, decently well. But it will take a little bit of time to kind of get the rhythm down, because it could be a little bit tricky because you're building out, and then you kind of have to hold the double 90 just a little bit to get the other side, because as you guys can see when I'm doing this on the second 90, I'm really brushed up against the left side of the wall, so I'm kind of delaying the 90 just slightly so I can reach out and place the cone, because if you place it too early, then it's basically just going to place in front of you, and it's not going to place on top. So your timing with this has to be really good if you want to get this down really well. So as you can see from a different angle, and the reason you probably would want to do this in a 1v1 is, so if you're building up and you have another players coming from your left or right, and you place that floor and you place that cone, then basically it's going to screw a lot of people over if they're trying to build up on you, because once they get to the cone, they're not going to be able to build, so they're going to have to change their direction, or try to do something else. They're not going to be able to ramp towards you. And when you're fighting for high ground in those 1v1s, or maybe in game, you always want to try to make the other player go a little bit slower, so that you guys can get high ground a lot easier, and then from high ground you're going to be able to win the fight a ton easier than if you are on low ground. And also, when you're first learning this, after you expand outwards, sometimes when I said earlier, because I'll put the ramp, and then I'll place the pyramid, and I'll place the floor, but honestly I would just place the pyramid, because if you try to place the floor and you do it the wrong way, and one thing that I was doing that I was really messing up with is I was placing the floor, but it was placing above me. So after you extend that ramp outwards, I would honestly just start off just to use the pyramid, so that you guys don't mess yourself up when it comes to building the floor. And so here's the second tip, or the second demonstration I want to show you guys, and this one is definitely going to be a lot harder than the other two that I'm going to show you in this video. And right here, it's kind of difficult, and it's kind of fast, so I'm definitely going to break it down and explain exactly how to do this. And it took me a little bit, this one took me definitely a little bit longer to learn, because it is a little bit trickier and there's a lot more steps to it. And really, when it comes down to it, there's a few different things that you want to master, and one of those things is a practice jumping around the sides, and that's why it's going to be pretty advanced, because once you're jumping around the sides, you're going to have to do 3 different movements, or place 3 different builds, so that's why it's going to be a little bit harder. So here I'm going to show you guys exactly how to do this and really go through it for those of you guys who can't understand exactly what I'm doing, because I'm not going to lie, the first time I saw it, I definitely had to look back at it a few times to really understand what I was trying to do and just, how to go through it and the best way to do it. So here I'm going to ramp up and show you guys exactly how to do this building technique. So here I'm ramping up, and once you get a little bit up in your ramp, you want to place a cone, and as well you want to place a floor. And you want to be able to edit the floor, because if you don't go for edit on the floor like you're seeing here, you're not going to be able to place the wall above you. It's going to make you place it down every single time. So if you want to be able to get that you want that edit on top, then you're going to have to edit the floor panel. And when you're editing the floor panel, you can honestly just edit one of the corners. It's just anything's enough so that you guys can get the wall on top. And it just looks a lot better and a lot cleaner if you edit the front and also the back, so it kind of cuts the floor panel in half. And once you're doing this, you really have to be good at or have a pretty solid foundation of jumping around on the side, because once you're jumping around the side, not only are you going to be able to catch yourself on the floor, you're going to have to also place a cone on top. So if you guys aren't already comfortable jumping around the side, it's going to be very difficult to do this advanced building technique. So when you're jumping around the side, you want to look up, and then as soon as you look up to place the cone, then you want to place a floor beneath you, and then from the floor beneath you, you want to try as fast as you can to try to get that first ramp out. And you have to be very, very quick when you're doing this, otherwise it's going to be very difficult to pull off. So I would say one of the hardest things to do is to get that wall off. If you guys can get the wall off pretty easily, it's not going to be too difficult to actually get this building technique. And if you guys are struggling with the after part where you place the floor and then you also place the pyramid, you can go back to the part where you have the cone and you also have the wall, and you can just practice jumping around the side and trying to catch yourself on the floor while also placing the pyramid on top. And you can keep practicing it until you get it down. And as you guys can see what I'm doing it here, I was really trying to edit both the squares on the floor panel, but I was messing up quite a few times. But as long as you're able to edit one of the squares, it's going to give you enough space to be able to get that wall on top. And that's all you need in order to do this building technique. And this one is definitely a lot more advanced than any of the other building techniques that I've ever showed on my channel, just because there was a lot of steps to it, and it's going to be very difficult to do for a lot of you guys who maybe are a little bit newer at building. So this is going to be very difficult to pull off, but I'm sure a lot of you guys with a little bit of practice are going to be able to do this. So the third tip, or the third advanced building technique I want to show you, it's going to be double 90s, but it's going to be kind of, I don't know what exactly to call this. Maybe I'll call them reverse 90s. It's basically double 90s, but you build the opposite way. So you're going from left to right initially, but you're building from right to left. And normally when people do 90s, you're going to see them do this. So you're going to be building around, and they're basically going to go in this direction. It's just a standard 90. It's how pretty much 90% of the players in this game do 90s, because it really is the easiest way to do 90s in this game. And once you get 90s down, you really don't mess them up too much in games, and it's just one of those building techniques once you have, you're going to have it for a really long time. So that's how normally people do 90s, but for this advanced building technique, you guys are going to see the motion that I'm building in. You're basically building the walls and everything in a reverse kind of manner. So instead of going from left to right, you're going to be going from right to left, and this is going to be very difficult to pull off. And I'm not going to lie to you guys are going to definitely have to have a little bit higher of a building sensitivity to pull this off. Otherwise, you guys aren't going to be able to do this as clean or as good as you want it. But after a little bit of practice, you're going to be able to sort of get the rhythm down and get the momentum down. It's going to look a little bit like this. And when you're practicing and you want to be able to try to do it better, I would honestly not even worry about trying to do them both in the same motion. Maybe you could try to do 190, see how it goes, because building in the opposite direction when you're doing this can be a little bit weird, and it can mess you up from time to time. And so normally I don't really do these type of 90s in games. I'll only do them in playgrounds, just because I'll mess them up a ton in games. And when it comes to those in-game situations, I want to do the easiest type of builds, and builds that I'm not going to be messing up. So I'm not going to be trying all these advanced building techniques in game, but they are really, really good for practice, just in case you ever get into a situation where you're going for a 90, and then while you're ramping up, maybe you get shot from one direction first, maybe you get shot from your right direction. So you're going to need to place that wall to your side first. So at least being pretty good at 90s every single way is going to be very helpful for in-game, just in case you get shot from that one angle in that one situation where you're going to need it. So having all those kind of things in your inventory, just being able to do them is really gonna help you guys out. And so the main reason I work on these kind of builds in creative or playground is because they are a little bit harder, or pretty much a lot harder than most of the builds I'm gonna be doing in game. So if I can get really good at doing all these advanced building techniques when it comes to actual in-game, where I have to do very simple edits, very simple builds, it's gonna be very easy, and I'm pretty much almost never gonna mess them up. So that's why learning these advanced building techniques could really help you guys out in the long run when it comes to actually winning build fights in games. And with that being said, that's what's up for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, hope you guys liked it, and if you guys could drop a like in this video, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, turn on my notifications to be notified for every single new video, and alright guys, I'll see you next video.